Yes, hello, folks. Welcome to Beyond the Pitch. Caught me on the drink. Phil, of course, John with Martin, as we give reaction to what we just watched, unfortunately, with 1-1 draw at home. The Everton, another very, very frustrating game. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, drop us a tweet at Malcans or at Martin's, and we'll work, and we'll go ahead and respond to them on here. Martin, you've just finished watching the game, as I have. What's your take from that?
It's getting pretty concerning, I'm not going to lie. The lack of mobility, the lack of movement in the final third, these long, hopeful balls we're dumping into the box. Now, Paul Pogba coming off the bench, not making any kind of difference whatsoever. The amount of corner kicks, again, there's nothing more frustrating for me in football than a player who can't beat the first man at a corner kick, and it's just time and time again for United, and it's getting so frustrating. There's no running in behind. I mean, certainly when Valencia doesn't play, there is no offering of an attack or an overlap from the fullbacks. I don't know at what point we do start. I mean, we're pretty much on the same page in that, you know, Jose can't go out there and put the ball in the back of the net himself. But at some point here, he's going to have to start taking some of the blame here. And we've got to start wondering what exactly is going on the training pitch. Because I'll be honest, today we looked out of ideas.
No, you tell me not blameless, Martin. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Jose Mourinho doesn't deserve any type of criticism. I think United's main problems aren't his problems. I think United's main problem isn't putting the ball in the net. But you're absolutely right. And what are they doing in training? The profligacy in front of goal is ridiculous. I mean, it's embarrassing. What's embarrassing is United going wide and knocking balls into the box ad nauseum. You do that when you don't have a player with the ability to beat a player. Watch Liverpool at Everton. Watch what Coutinho does to Everton early on. Tacks him down the middle, play a bit of skill, skips past a player or two, puts the ball in the corner of the net. United don't have anyone who can do that, Martin.
Well, no, I mean,
or anyone that's doing it, I should say.
Or anyone who's doing it, but that leads me back to my first point. I mean, is this tactically where we're at? Is this tactically what we're setting up to do? Because we have players who are not even trying to do it. The amount of time the ball goes wide, then it goes back down the line, then it goes wide again, then it goes back down the line, and then just gets dumped into the box.
Ball in the box for Ibrahimovic or
I will say,
Fellaini.
At this point, it seems to me that Herrera is the only player in that squad capable of delivering a decent ball. Continuously delivers good ball, but it's just a long. And be honest with you, Fellaini again plays 90 minutes. He gets dumped up top, and it's very obvious what we're going to do at that point. He's dump the ball and launch it, and he doesn't win anything in the air. That is the amazing thing for me. I saw a lot of talk there on Twitter about, you know, blaming Fellaini. This, how come all our chances fall to Fellaini? Well, look, I'm going to give him this. At least he's putting himself in the positions to make something happen.
Who?
Fellaini. I mean, it'd be nice if he put something on target. Would be really nice at some point. But it's frustrating from a point of the way to beat a compact defense and a defense that sits deeper and deeper and compacts the center of the field is to get the ball wide. It's by small interchange of passing, 5-yard, little 7-yard balls, quick interchanges, getting the ball through, runners from deep. We seem to lack all of that. It's get the ball down the line, get it back, dump it in, and it's not working. We've scored 21 goals at home. That's less than Burnley, Bournemouth, and Watford. Come on.
All great teams, all very good teams, great teams have players that can turn a game because everybody sits in against great teams. Everybody sits deep. It's not a new problem. All very, very good teams have to play against defenses that sit deep. And that's why you need a player that can take a ball, skin a player, change the game in an instant. Mkhitaryan was supposed to be that player for United. He was supposed to be the player that creates. He did it for Dortmund, skips past players for fun, scores goals, is that deep runner from midfield. I don't blame Mourinho for dropping Mkhitaryan. I don't blame him for dropping Martial either. They have to make themselves to the point where you can't leave them out. They are the ones that pick the team. And so Mourinho's not going to leave out good players if they're playing well. The fact that they're being left out is a reflection of their own performance. Martial's capable of doing that, Martin. Mkhitaryan's capable of doing it. Jesse Lingard, we know, is a relatively limited player. hits the first man with the cross all day today. Really disappointing. He wanted to bring Martial on. Obviously, Ashley Young gets injured. Luke Shaw, come on, did okay.
Okay.
But what concerns me is how one-dimensional it is. I'll tell you something. Up until West Brom, I felt that the problems at United weren't that big. I felt that, once they add a striker or two that can finish, most of these problems will go away. The last two games have been really, really concerning. Coming back off an international break, United have looked terrible. And getting wet against West Brom, if Tony Pulis could have picked the Manchester United team and said, play a certain way, it would have been that way. Go wide, knock a ball in the box where we've got 6'3" defenders. That's our game all day long. Everton, no creativity, Martin, in the midfield. Nowhere.
Well, and rather like Pulis, though, I mean, you're looking at a team with Ashley Williams, and I'm a fan of. I think I said in one of our very, very first podcasts, I thought that was at the time a good signing. I thought you could have done a lot worse. And again, he's had a very good game today and made a cracking save on the line, to be honest, at the end. But Ashley Williams, Phil Jagielka, again, two players whose strengths are probably in the air. And we just go and lump balls into the box. Concerning thing, I was thinking of watching that game, and I agree. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I was very, very convinced that we'll turn around, we'll start putting the ball away, top four, no problem. I'm extremely concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see where it comes from now. I don't think this is a thing that turns around overnight now. And at what point is he going to put all his eggs in one basket and go all out for the Europa? Because
all out for the Europa? And do what? And do what differently?
Well, and that's just it, isn't it? I suppose. I mean, it's not like we're not resting players for anything in particular right now.
Anybody thinks that Anderlecht game is going to be straightforward? You're overestimating United.
Yeah.
Listen, the way United are playing at the minute. Look, Mourinho, this will be eating him up more as much as it's eating you and me up. Right? Make no mistake about it. And it's really frustrating to watch fans give up so quickly on Jose Mourinho. Look, he does deserve criticism, I grant you that. But there's nobody out there from Man United that's going to wave a magic wand and fix United's problems. There's nobody, not Ancelotti, not anybody, right? The United team still needs major work. But up until a couple of weeks ago, Martin, I was convinced that United are just one or two players away. I don't have any confidence now in any game that they play that they're going to go out and score. As soon as they went behind, it's hard enough seeing them scoring one, never mind two. I don't have confidence against anybody anymore.
No.
And I felt that way with Van Gaal too.
I was just going to bring it up. I see a bunch of players there. And I'll play devil's advocate a little bit here. But I do see signs of players who are a little confused. I don't see I watch getting
such as who's confused?
Well, such as I'll use Luke Shaw for a prime example right now. Jose screaming at him to get closer to certain players. Earlier on in the season, he's trying to squeeze the midfielders closer to Ibrahimovic. And I've seen that again today. The gaps between the front man and the midfielders are getting bigger. The gaps between the defence and the midfielders are getting bigger and bigger. And you see players urging each other on to push and close gaps where there shouldn't be gaps. And Jose on the sideline trying to squeeze in, trying to move players around and squeeze gaps. Now, this is stuff that should be worked on the training pitch. So it's either a bunch of players who aren't understanding or there is confusion tactically what it is we're exactly trying to do. We consistently see one player press, not press in packs. I see some pressing, I see some sitting. There's confusion there. I'm telling you.
Maybe. It's not a very complex tactical system that he's playing, Martin.
Shouldn't
It's a 4-2-3-1. It's not very complex, so really there shouldn't be any confusion. Look, the greatest, the most expensive players in the game are the players that win you games when you do this. And when you can't break teams down, when you don't have the quality to open up teams, those are the most expensive players in world football, and they're the hardest ones to get. But like I said earlier, the best teams in Europe have those players. United must prioritize this summer a player, whether it's Griezmann, whatever it is, that can take these types of games against West Brom, against Hull, the points, the games that are going to cost United at the end of the season, and find a piece of magic that takes those games out. Ibrahimovic was doing that earlier in the season, where he was rescuing United with a piece of magic that was winning a game. That's not happening anymore. And so when they don't have that piece of magic, that they look so one-dimensional. Stick wide, throw it in the box, and hope somebody gets on the end of it. And then they win a game 1-0, and everybody forgets how poor they actually were. I will say this. There's no comparison between United this season and last season. I don't care what people say on paper. This is a Man United team that Mourinho was asking for them to attack. Van Gaal did not ask this United team to attack. I know people are criticizing him, Martin, but I really can't find a lot that Mourinho's doing wrong.
Look, I just think he's got to shoulder a lot of the blame here. And I know he's going to pass the buck a little bit, as Jose likes to do. And look, outing players in the press is fine by me. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Mkhitaryan hasn't been good enough. Martial hasn't been good enough. Luke Shaw, we know the issues there. Marcus Rashford, for his lack of composure in front of goal. Mm-hmm. The boy does an awful lot right, and the boy at least tries to make things happen. He works his ass off, so I have no problem. I see people complain about Rashford, saying he's garbage. Right, what game are you guys watching? It just amazes me. The one that concerns me, we talk about bringing someone in, a game changer. That's what we paid £90 million for.
But no, I agree.
And he's got. I mean, I've defended him all season long, but it's about that. It's not like he's 10 games into a Premier League season now.
Hard to criticize him tonight, though. I mean,
I'm not
coming over back.
Well, I will criticize him tonight because 4 times he dumps the ball from 50 yards into the box. I'm not having that.
I know, but I
expect more from him. I don't expect more for the price tag. I expect more from Paul Pogba.
But that was obviously a deliberate tactic of United. He was obviously told put the ball in long into Ibrahimovic and into.
So that's where I'll criticize Jose then.
I agree.
If we've bought a £90 million footballer who is a wonderful talent, and that's what we're going to ask him to do, but then we really do have bigger problems than we first thought.
Well, it tells you that Mourinho doesn't trust the players that he has in that team to win a game any other way than to win it ugly, right? But to be fair to Mourinho, it's not like anyone else has given him reason to think otherwise. How many times have we seen United win a game this season where someone sat deep against them, made them difficult to break down, where somebody skinned the player, opened them up, and created something out of nothing? It very rarely happens, Martin, right? The goal they got tonight was a penalty, right? That was the only way it was coming. It wasn't coming from open play. I mean, they got Ibrahimovic scored a goal that should have counted. I agree.
Well, Ibra should have scored enough. He should have scored in the first couple of minutes.
But he always does. But listen, you know that he's going to miss 3 or 4 chances a game. Mm-hmm. It's always a way, right? So again, you can't fault Mourinho for that, right? So this summer, trying to sign the best players in the world that take those chances, that take 3 out of 4 chances, they cost an awful lot of money and everybody wants them. If United aren't in the top 4 in the Champions League, why would you go to Manchester United?
Yeah.
Money. That's what it comes down to.
What it comes down to.
So now United are saying to players, pick here because we're going to pay you the most. United used to be the opposite under Ferguson. Yeah. When United were attracting players, you came to Manchester United because you wanted to be at the best football club in the world to win trophies. Now United are doing what we used to criticize other football clubs for. Come to Manchester United because we'll pay you more than other clubs. That's not a good situation, and that's exactly more when the chips are down. Those are the types of players that up sticks and leave. The Touris, the moan when they don't get a birthday cake. That's not a good situation for United to be in. You want players at the football club because they desperately want to be there, but if a footballer isn't a Manchester United fan and you've got the pick of the best clubs in the world, why go to United?
Yeah, well,
Mourinho's going to have to answer.
And he's going to have to come out and answer that, and he's going to have a lot of answering to do now. And every game that goes by right now, these targets are becoming further and further apart, further and further away. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to do a pretty good sales job if you're watching these last few games, and just look at your home record. You look at them. You look at that record, and you're going to have to be a pretty good salesman now. You've got
even if you need to scrape in the back door of the Champions League through Europa League. How do you sit down with the best players in the world and say, we have Champions League football. Yeah, but this team's going to go out in the group stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you convince the best players in the world that with Champions League football, we're going to go in that tournament and we're going to be a team that is going to go out and be one of the favourites to win it? I mean, for United, for that to happen, I don't think United can do enough this summer for that to happen. So Mourinho's going to have to improve what he's got. The sign of a great manager is getting the best out of what he has, Martin. I can't say that he's getting the best out of Martial. I can't say that he's getting the best out of Mkhitaryan. Martial last season in an insipid system under Van Gaal was sensational. Best player by far. De Gea looks like his head somewhere else.
I was going to bring that up. I thought exactly the same thing on that first goal. That's people questioning if that's De Gea. It's absolutely David De Gea's fault. That ball's in the air for a long time in his 6-yard box. The best goalkeeper in the world that we thought that we say he is comes out and clears that ball. Absolutely no doubt. The back pass, the one where Rojo stood out arms open and De Gea stood on the line. He looks like the David De Gea of a couple of years ago when he was it last year when he was going to go and Van Gaal took him out the lineup because you could tell the focus wasn't there. If that's the case, so be it. I'll flip it a little bit. Let's try and turn it around a little bit and talk about any positives from today's game. And I thought Eric Bailly dealt with Lukaku superbly.
I thought Bailly and Rojo played well.
Both of them.
I thought Rojo played really
I will
well.
give him a little fault for that goal. He should have been stronger on that goal. But for the most part, I thought, considering the bizarre tactics or bizarre shape when we're just trying to throw everything forward, we end up with Ander Herrera at fullback at one point, and Ashley Young played, I think, all the way across the back for it throughout the game. But to have to deal with a player as dangerous that, as strong as that, as powerful as that, everybody. I mean, I thought he was sensational. I thought it was good. I mean, I thought he did well. I thought Lukaku that's the one question mark we asked about him, right? Well, can he do it in the big games against the big teams? And that was your question, right?
Yeah, I can't make up my mind if he's Drogba or Emil Heskey. One of the things that I will also say, one of the questions United absolutely must answer this summer is when you're in a game where you need a goal, the answer cannot be Fellaini. It has to be someone else. It has to be someone that comes on that makes teams do something other than just stick a big man on him, because he's not going to do anything on the ground. And you know exactly what's going to happen with United's players. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get scrappy. That's what you want against a team that's supposed to have better players. Make it ugly, make it scrappy. That cannot be United's go-to tactic to get themselves out of a hole in a game. Marouane Fellaini cannot be the answer anymore, Martin.
It's still surprising me he gets 90 minutes a game, and I'm okay with Fellaini playing here and there. Don't get me wrong, but I don't understand. I think this is where I'm confused. I'm not sure watching these games what we're asking him to do. It doesn't seem like we're asking him to sit and hold in front of that back four. It doesn't seem like I see him popping up in the number 10 position just off. I don't know what he's going to do there. We put him in the box, the ball barely even reaches him, and when it does, he doesn't do sweet FA with it. You know what I mean? I don't know what we're asking of Fellaini.
All right, we'll go ahead and leave it there. We got to go. We got a Danny Higginbotham show coming up here in a few minutes. Folks, thanks very much for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe to the Beyond the Pitch Facebook page or YouTube page and all that stuff. We'll be doing a lot more of these with other shows, other topics and all that there. So thanks very much for tuning in. You can tweet myself, tweet Martin, tweet the show. Much appreciated. Martin, I will catch you at the weekend where United play Sunderland, right?
Yeah.
Well,
see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. United don't win that game. It's the easiest 3 points you get in the Premier League. Folks, I'll catch you later. See you later, Martin.
Bye.
All right, bye.